what is agent AI, if you could briefly explain that, and then how is that going to work in the workplace in terms of managing other humans?
It's a good question. Understanding who is this person as a friend, you can know if this is the right person or somebody who is claiming to be that person. So the AI will be used to recognize the behavior of people. Let's say for in the job, somebody said that I am Tom, X, and enter the office. But because we have that system, and that system recognize who's Tom because they understand how they move, how they scratch their head, how they what kind of glasses they have, what's the brand, all of these things, they can just analyze this and say, you're not Tom, somebody else. This is not you. Then they're going to block the system completely from that person and alert the authorities, say somebody else, he's imposter, is taking the position of this employee. This kind of security is something which is basically behavioral, security. It's talking about the environment. It's not talking about the devices. The device itself will turn on the minute you are sitting in front of it because the device recognize who's this person. If somebody else, push me away from that device and try to sit and work on the device, it's gonna shut down because say, I don't know you. You're not the person who's supposed to be in this chair looking at this at this screen. So we will get to the point where the devices themselves will be equipped with this with this kind of AI to recognize who's the owner, who is the person should be in this place to make that kind of decision. And of course, there will be some kind of kind of communications. If I am sick, I want somebody to get into the system to find this information. I can talk to the device, and the device can open exactly what I want this person to see, not the whole system. And this is what happened now. You get into the system, you see everything. So this way of thinking is important because it's security, it's privacy, for both for the company and for the employee to make sure that only the right people can get to the information.
Would this apply to remote work as well, or is remote work going? Okay, it would.
Yeah.
And then my other question is, can you remind me again what that type of, it's behavioral security is what it's going to be called? When do you
Yeah.
think that's going to be implemented?
There are some, companies doing that. It's on a small scale, especially with the high sensitive, three letters agencies where the behavior is monitored to see why this person, and also the activities on the keyboard itself when the way they type and the different files they're going through. If something is off a certain algorithm or a certain way, then there will be some alert saying there's something wrong about this, why he or she's trying to access this. Has nothing to do, maybe, but maybe by mistake is fine. But if they find out that this is really a behavior that start emerging, then they can shut down the system. They say, well, no, that's so the high level agencies, they're using these kind of things because this is passwords and two-factor authentication. Everybody has them.
Hmm.
Now we're talking about the third level of the security, which is I need to know you before I can let you in. And how would I know that person? I need information about that person, enough information to identify that person. We do this at the airport, for example, when you ask people certain questions and you have the answers in front of you, on the screen. And you ask the person, did you do this? Did you do that? This one. And that is trying to understand if this is the right person or somebody else. And it's trying to find if this person, trying to get into the system and he or she is not supposed to be there. This is taking the next step in using the AI agent, using the AI in general to making sure that the security, the cybersecurity is not just cybersecurity, is a smart cybersecurity by adding the AI to it.
Is this going to eliminate a lot of jobs, you think? Cybersecurity type jobs, IT roles, where you'd have an admin, for instance, looking around and seeing if people are engaging in suspicious activity?
Well, what's going to happen is it's going to force the cybersecurity, specialist, cybersecurity expert to learn more about AI and how AI will help them in their jobs. And this is not just limited to cybersecurity. Every single job, every single job in the industry, they should, and I say they should, know how AI will help them in their job. Nobody is safe if you don't use AI, ChatGPT, any kind of tools in your job to answer question, to find way for you to make your job better, to understand new trends, to analyze information, your job will be at risk, because this is what I hear from a lot of the CEOs of the companies in the industry, especially in Silicon Valley, by saying that the key thing is, do you know anything about how to use AI? And I'm going to add one more point here. My student, when they're working on their capstone or their senior projects, my condition for them to be their advisor is 30% of their project must be AI, ChatGPT and analytics with AI. I don't care. As long as you have the element of AI there, then I'm going to work with you.
And you
Knowing
would
that,
explain how they used it in that
absolutely.
capstone. Okay.
Absolutely. In the interview, they ask them, have you ever used AI? Yes, in my senior project. And we did one, two, three, four, five, six, seven.
What would you like to add in terms of emerging technologies like quantum computing and the future of cybersecurity that maybe we didn't cover in this conversation that you think is really important for people to know about?
Well, it's the next wave of the AI with something called the physical AI, which is something NVIDIA CEO talk about it a lot lately, especially in their latest conference, the GTC 2025. The physical AI is basically merging the artificial intelligence with the robots. So where you have the artificial intelligence, it's not just on the desktop or in your phone or on your laptop. It's actually on a robot, and this robot will start making some kind of physical work for you, like what we have seen in the movies, like iRobot, an example of that. And that will take care of some of the routines you are doing. Um, a prime example of this, when you're talking about autonomous cars. Autonomous car, basically, you have software and you have the hardware together, like the robot that will go from point A to point B. You have Waymo, you have Tesla, all those, just an example of this. Now we're going to see them in robots. And those robots could be something which is in your house, that cleaning, taking care of stuff, going to the grocery and buying stuff for you, making phone calls, taking all these routine things that you usually the human will do. And then because it's smart enough to make that decision and understand who you are, they can make that decision and confirm it with you if you want to program it that way, by sending you a text message, by calling you, by saying, well, I did this one, is that okay with you, or should I change it? That will be the next one. Or the factories or the office, some of the routine stuff can be done with robot that attach to desk, where they can just keep asking questions, interviewing people, doing this. We have seen some of the functions, which is the function that have specific standards, they are automated. And when we talk about automation, it's the old word for AI. Now we talk about a smart automation. HR, when you're looking at the resumes, um, you have hundreds of resumes, maybe thousands of them received because your company is good. You're not going to take the time of two or three managers and ask them to check it. Maximum time is 7 seconds for each one of the resume. The AI can look at it and say, just program it to look for a certain things. And then you can sort this one out by saying, this is good, this is bad, look at this one. And then from 1,000, you can have 50 of them, so you can look at them as a human and make that decision. So this is where we can see in the future, which is the physical AI, which is the marriage of the AI and the robots. Many of our students, and I've seen them at San Jose State, they really would like to be specialized in robotics. They love the course of robotics because they feel that this is you're turning the code with the software into a hardware, which is the movement of the robot. And of course, it's sci-fi. It's the right thing because you're creating something, and this something is helping with a specific task.
That's pretty exciting. How do you think, locking down the security of those robots would look like? Because obviously with Tesla, there have been issues with being able to hack into the system.
Right.
How do you prevent that sort of, takeover, especially if you're, for instance, you might have this robot doing menial tasks in your home in the future?
In this case, we have to talk about the security we have now, and we have to have an enhanced security with the AI. So, for example, any movement or any time there is a hacking and they start acting weird, you shut it down. I mean, there is a kill switch where the system gonna shut down because it's got hacked. The communication, which is the update of the software itself, has to be encrypted in a high level of encryption, so nobody will intercept that and get into the robots and then ask them to do some crazy stuff.
Mhm.
Um, all of these things are part of, it's a whole package, and you're absolutely right about it. And we could be happy and excited about helping us, but what if they went out of the ordinary and they start acting weird because somebody hacked on them, and then ask thousands of them to start hitting people. Now this is a real fear, and encryption and protection of the software and the updated software is very important. And also, I'm taking you back to the movie of the iRobot. There are the three laws that the robot will follow, which is they're not going to hurt people, and that is when the human will supersede, everything. Their voice is stop, shut down, don't do anything. It's going to shut down the system completely. It's really a process where you think about safety, think about ethics more than anything else.